Hello everybody, it's me Alex the Hunted, and well, this was a video I didn't really want to make. Yeah, I did a few months ago my top 10 favourite Godzillas, and I said I might do a top 10 worst Godzilla list, but you guys wanted it, so I'm going to be doing it. The problem is finding 10 Godzillas I don't like was a bit of a challenge, because I don't really dislike any Godzilla. I don't think any one of them is really bad or terrible or anything like that. I would say really only apart from the top 3 are the ones I just have problems with, but I don't hate or dislike any of them. But these are my opinions, so these are my top 10, I say worst Godzillas, but that's the best title I can come up with. They're not the worst Godzillas, because I don't think there's any bad Godzillas. But you know what I mean, these are the top 10 worst Godzillas. Let's begin the list. Number 10, Megaloji Goji. Not really much to say. This was when Godzilla was in full-blown kid superhero mode. So the suit was designed to make him look more like a superhero. So they gave him big anime eyes, made him look much rounder, much more cute and sort of cuddly. It was sort of like anime chibi look that Godzilla had. And this was introduced in Godzilla vs. Megalon, where Godzilla's personality matched the suit entirely. He was in full superhero mode, posing, fighting like a boxer. He wasn't really behaving like an animal anymore. He was more, well, just a superhero now. He was just missing the cape and everything would be complete. But this was only really for Godzilla vs. Megalon. In the next 2 movies, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla and Terror of Mechagodzilla, they learned how to shoot this Godzilla better. They made him look more intimidating, less hero, less chibi looking. He still had the big anime eyes, but they made him look more aggressive looking. And he behaved more like a kaiju and less like a superhero. But he is in some of the best Godzilla fights. I just definitely think that if they stuck with a better designed version of the previous Godzilla that we saw in Godzilla vs. Gigan, made a new version of that suit, this would have been better. But, you know, obviously Godzilla's suit changes over time and they gave him a more superhero kid-friendly look. So he's definitely not one of the worst, but I wouldn't call him one of my favourites. It's mostly just the eyes. And in number 9, King Goji. Well, yeah, he is in one of my favourite Godzilla movies and is in the best Godzilla fight in the whole franchise so far. But yeah, this Godzilla is a bit of a, well, dumbass. Mostly it's his behaviour. The fact that his head sort of looks, in some of angles, sort of like he's got this derpy expression towards him. And his behaviour in the movie makes him look just stupid. Him falling into holes, finding out electricity hurts, and this arm waving thing he does the whole time makes him more kind of adorable. And the fact that he's supposed to be the antagonist, you know, the same Godzilla as Godzilla Raids Again, you know, the king of all monsters, the unstoppable beast, it just makes him look kind of adorable and less like the antagonist, more cute. That's mostly just the problem I have with it, is his behaviour, and his look kind of looks a bit derpy in angles, and his behaviour as well. He doesn't come off as the big threatening kaiju, that king of all monsters. He just comes off as a bit of a dumbass. Still a very fun Godzilla. Number 8, Gagoji. Yeah, I know in my last list I put the King of the Monsters Godzilla in the top 10, my favourite Godzillas, but you know, the reason why I put this Godzilla in this list is mostly because, well, the design is fine, it's just not there yet. The spines are too small, he's a bit chubby, and well, he's not as strong as this Godzilla could be, and as we see in later movies. Also, his feet are, well, they just look like trunks. They look like elephant feet and not actual, like, monster Godzilla feet, which they do fix in the later movies. Basically, all the problems I have with this Godzilla design, they fix in King of the Monsters. He gets bigger spines, he gets trimmed out, he looks stronger. Still a little bit chubby, but looks stronger. His feet have been fixed. You know, he looks more intimidating, more stronger in King of the Monsters than he does here. But then again, that could be explained because this Godzilla was basically hibernating for years and years and years and hasn't been needing to, you know, go into a fight, so of course he put on a bit of pounds. Yeah, basically everything wrong with this Godzilla was fixed in the next movie. That's all I can really say. Number 7, 84 Goji. Oh, I definitely think I'm going to get some hate for this pick because I know some people definitely love this Godzilla design. I'm not one of them because, again, it's the same problem with the King Goji, is that, well, some angles he can definitely look intimidating, other angles he looks really, really stupid. Mostly it's because of the eyes, they're not pointing in the same direction, so he looks very derp. From the sides he looks fine, but from the front that's basically just the problem, is it's ugh, that look. This is also the Godzilla which they made the largest animatronic Godzilla for, and they do use it in some shots, and it doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good. It looks like an animatronic. They were going to use this for the whole movie, but once they saw it in action, they decided to go back to traditional suit animation, which, you know, it's much better, and it definitely looks much more intimidating. But yeah, it definitely comes across of this design. I can see what they were going for. They wanted to give Godzilla a more reptilian look, but also make him still look like he was in the Showa era in a way, sort of that middle ground. But it doesn't. It's not there. There's a reason why they changed it in Godzilla vs. Biollante and kept with that sort of imprint of design for the rest of the Heisei era. It's good, but it just depends on the angle he's shot at. It looks really goofy and stupid in some angles, and the animatronic giant Godzilla that they made, just, yeah, less said about that the better. Right, yes, number 6. I need to find another one. Right, it's a bit of a struggle to find one. Okay, I'll just look at the wiki. Let's see what I can find on the wiki. Godzilla Kun. Okay, let's have a look at what this is. Oh my god! Ah! 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 Number 5. Oh god, this one's going to be a hard one to pronounce. Gaiyusukiyo Goji. Poor rate against Goji, a victim of a very rushed production. Really needing to slim down the Godzilla suit because it was going to fight Anguirus, it really shows. The head sculpt is just awful, and this was the first Godzilla head to have animatronic eyes, when the eyes moved in the head. And well, they just don't look good at all. You can just see from the head sculpt, it just doesn't look right at all. Godzilla's face is sort of uneven and warped and just all around bad. And the suit itself is it's very slimmed down. I think it's probably the most guy in a suit looking Godzilla suit there's been. It clearly looks like this is just a guy in a suit. The whole problem with this Godzilla is basically just because of the whole rush job that this movie was to make. And also because no one had ever really done anything like this before. This was the first time there was ever a giant monster fight ever on screen, and no one really knew what to do, especially with using suitmation. So they had to slim the suit down so that it would work for the fight, but they think they just went a bit too far. And it's just a shame, really. The head is just awful, and the suit looks like a person wearing a Godzilla suit with a tail attached. It's not good by the slightest, and well, it's a good thing that this suit was buried under ice. Yeah, it really could have been better. Number 4. Murosuko Goji. And speaking of terrible head sculpts, dear God, look at this Godzilla's head. It's horrible. It's awful. It looks like the Cookie Monster on crack. It's terrible. This suit was only used in Son of Godzilla as the main role. In every other use, it was used as the water suit. But yeah, this Godzilla suit only appears in this one movie, and just look at the head. It's awful. The mouth is wide and spread out and looks just terrible, and the top of the head it's sort of pear-shaped, so that the eyes are really crushed together, and it looks awful. And it's not one of those suits I can say looks alright from the side, because it doesn't. It's an awful design. There's no reason why they completely changed the suit again for Destroy All Monsters, because yeah, this Godzilla I can see why it only had its one movie appearance. It's an awful looking head sculpt. I can sort of see what they were doing, because they still wanted Godzilla to look intimidating and threatening, but also a bit more kid friendly, and also this was going to be with Son of Godzilla, so they wanted Godzilla to look a bit like his son. But yeah, modelling Godzilla's head after Manila is just, yeah, you can see why it just looks awful, and they decided to go to a more conventional look for the next movie. Number 3. Towa Goji. Yeah, you guys knew this was coming. Well, I will say this is a fine design for a kaiju. For a Godzilla design, which it was marketed as, the original movie was made as a Godzilla movie, it's awful. It's a very awful design. They barely get anything right with this Godzilla. They know what they were doing. They wanted a more reptilian, more arched over look, something that looks more realistic, but you know, it's Godzilla. You can get away with it not looking realistic. It being hunched over and just it looks very weak, and it is very weak, because this one gets taken out by fucking missiles. And it's sort of weird that Toho would be so against this Godzilla design after the movie that came out, but they signed off on this design. When making the 98 Godzilla movie, they had to get Toho to approve the Godzilla design, and they did. They looked at it and they approved of it. So Toho trying to backtrack and making this Zilla and not Godzilla and, just making fun of it all the time, they did kind of agree to this. But still, it's not a very good Godzilla design. It's very weak, it's very frail looking. It doesn't look like it's much of a fighter. And yes, they do massively improve this Godzilla in the animated series. And Zilla is getting his own time to shine in comics and other medias. But yeah, it's still not a good design if you're seeing it as Godzilla. Also, while the animatronic and suit Godzilla that they made for this looks fine, the CGI version, when we see him in CGI, it hasn't aged well. In fact, I don't think it actually looked particularly good back in 1998. But yeah, definitely no longer Godzilla, this is just Zilla. But still, it was marketed and advertised as Godzilla, so we have to count it as that. Number 2, Goji. Oh, where do I begin? Okay, the concept of a massive, powerful, godlike Godzilla, the biggest Godzilla we've ever seen, is great. And I like how they've tried to make this Godzilla look old, with the spikes on his jaw making him look kind of like he's got a beard. But my god, such a wasted potential. He barely moves. I get that they want him to look big, grand and powerful, but the fact that he barely does anything on screen, he barely moves, he's so slow, just makes it look like lazy animation. Because I don't think he moves, I don't think we even really see him walk, he just appears and glides around. And he only shows up when the plot needs him to, which is very rarely. And he's also supposed to be a tree or a plant or something because he grows, because originally he was supposed to be just 50 meters tall, but now he's the biggest Godzilla we've ever seen because he hibernated and grew like a plant. I don't get it. He has some of the most powerful attacks we've ever seen on a Godzilla, and yet just when it comes to presentation and appearance and all that stuff, very much like the anime trilogy itself, it's a great idea, a great concept, but such a wasted potential. A great idea, terribly realised. Yep, that's basically the anime trilogy in a nutshell, and this Godzilla is the poster child of it. A great idea, badly done. Oh, and fun fact, the anime Godzilla actually weighs exactly the same as Kaiser Ghidorah in Godzilla Final Wars, which means that the Godzilla in Godzilla Final Wars could probably lift up and throw the anime Godzilla. So I guess he's not that powerful. And number 1 is Kiryu Goji. Okay, I definitely think my number 1 pick is going to get some pushback, let's say, but I don't like this Godzilla because, well, I love the design. The design is great. I love the look of it. But he's supposed to be the antagonist of these two movies. He's a bit too cute looking for that. His eyes are a bit too big, which makes him look more cute and sympathetic than threatening and the antagonist. This was in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, but in Tokyo SOS they changed up the suit a little bit to make him look more intimidating and threatening, which they did, but it still has one massive problem. Both of these Godzillas have one massive problem. He's supposed to be the antagonist of these two movies. He's supposed to be the most powerful kaiju in this universe of Godzilla. Supposed to look big and threatening and unstoppable, and he doesn't. He doesn't come off of that at all. In both movie appearances, he spends the whole time getting his ass handed to him. Very rarely gets any attacks in on his opponents. And this would be fine if he was the good guy, because you want to show that the villain looks strong and powerful and might be too much of a match for Godzilla. But Godzilla's supposed to be the antagonist of these movies, so you want him to look so intimidating and become off as so powerful that even these grand weapons, even Mothra is struggling to take him down, and that just never comes off that way. He just comes off as weak. He just comes off as more of an annoyance than an actual intimidating threat. Which is such a shame, because this is a great Godzilla design and had tons of potential, but I mean, we know Toho can do this because they absolutely nailed it in the last movie, Godzilla Giant Monsters All Out Attack, so how come in the very next movie, when Godzilla needs to be the antagonist again, he comes off as so weak? They could have done so much more, instead of just spending the entire movie getting his ass kicked by Mechagodzilla and Mothra. Seriously, I think in both movies he only gets about 5 attacks, or something like that. You know what, I'm going to actually look through the movies and point out every single attack he gets. Yeah, that's it. That's all the attacks he gets in the entire movie. Wow. Yeah, that really shows how threatening this Godzilla is. Yeah, just great design, and I'm glad they're using it in like comics and stuff like that to show, you know, make this design look as powerful and intimidating as it's supposed to be. But in the movies, yeah, it just doesn't come off that way. But yeah, those are my top 10 worst Godzillas. You know, like I said, I don't really hate any of them. Some of them I just have problems with. I don't dislike any of them. But, you know, tell me what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I have a Patreon if you want to support that. You can join my Discord for news and all that sort of stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.